Hello, everyone. My name is Miss Anita Medford, and I'd like to start reading to you the BFG. Let's get started on Chapter 1. The Witching Hour. Sophie couldn't sleep. A brilliant moonbeam was slanting through a gap in the curtains. It was shining right onto her pillow. The other children in the dormitory had been asleep for hours. Sophie closed her eyes and lay quite still. She tried very hard to doze off. It was no good. The moonbeam was like a silver blade slicing through the room onto her face. The house was absolutely silent. No voices came up from downstairs. There were no footsteps on the floor above either. The window behind the curtain was wide open, but nobody was walking on the pavement outside. No cars went by on the street. Not the tiniest sound could be heard anywhere. Sophie had never known such a silence. Here's a picture to go along with it. Perhaps, she told herself, this was what they called the witching hour. The witching hour, somebody had once whispered to her, was a special moment in the middle of the night when every child and every grown-up was in a deep, deep sleep, and all the dark things came out from hiding and had the world to themselves. The moonbeam was brighter than ever on Sophie's pillow. She decided to get out of bed and close the gap in the curtains. You got punished if you were caught out of bed after lights out. Even if you said you had to go to the lavatory, that was not accepted as an excuse, and they punished you just the same. But there was no one about now. Sophie was sure of that. She reached out for her glasses that lay on the chair beside her. They had steel rims and very thick lenses, and she could hardly see a thing without them. She put them on, then she slipped out of bed and tiptoed over to the window. When she reached the curtains, Sophie hesitated. She longed to duck underneath them and lean out of the window to see what the world looked like now that the witching hour was at hand. She listened again. Everywhere it was deathly still. The longing to look out became so strong she couldn't resist it. Quickly she ducked under the curtains and leaned out of the window. In the silvery moonlight, the village street she knew so well seemed completely different. The houses looked bent and crooked, like houses in a fairy tale. Everything was pale and ghostly and milky white. Across the road she could see Mrs. Rance's shop where you bought buttons and wool and bits of elastic. It didn't look real. There was something dim and misty about that, too. Sophie allowed her eye to travel further and further down the street. Suddenly, she froze. There was something coming up the street on the opposite side. It was something black, something tall and black, something very tall and very black and very thin. We're going to stop right there. That's the end of Chapter 1. I do want to leave you with a quick thought question. We'll do this at the end of every chapter. The quick thought question for Chapter 1 is, what should Sophie do? What do you think she should do? Should she go on back to bed? Should she lean out further? Should she call for help? What do you think Sophie should do? Let's take a look at two vocabulary words that were in this chapter. The first word was the word dormitory. She lived in a dormitory with other boys and girls. The second word is the word lavatory. Lavatory. If she got up at night to use the lavatory, she could get in trouble. What do you suppose each of these mean? A dormitory is a large bedroom for a number of people in a school. Think about a college. How many of you know someone that has gone off to college? They probably stay in a dormitory, a very large room or building that has several different bedrooms. And a lot of the times you'll hear it called a dorm. They each have a dorm room. Dormitory. Now we know that Sophie's not in college. She's still a little girl. So I wonder, why is Sophie living in a dormitory? If you create a think and wonder chart, that could be something that is on your wonder side. Our other word is the word lavatory. A lavatory is a bathroom. Now that kind of makes sense. She was not allowed to get up to use the bathroom at night. I want us to take a look at both of these words. What do you see that is in common with both of these words? What do both of these words have? If you said they both have the suffix tory on them, lavatory, dormitory, then you are correct. So now let's think a minute. They both have tory at the end of them, and they are both what? The dormitory is a bedroom. The lavatory is a bathroom. So what do you think the suffix tory would mean? If you said tory means room, then you are correct. What other words could you think of that have the suffix tory on them? Tory. What about a laboratory? Oh, laboratory. So then I wonder, what kind of room would that be? There's also the word conservatory. That would be another type of word. I want you to look up the words laboratory and conservatory and find out what type of room those two are. I'll see you again tomorrow with Chapter 2 of the BFG.